Hi, I'm Lori. Welcome back to Milkweeds and Roses Gardener. It is that time of year, the circle of life, things keep moving. I was a little bit sad yesterday when my first nest of robins flew the coop. The babies fledged. I knew it was going to happen because I could see them standing up in the nest and, practicing their wings, just kind of testing them out. And this morning, they were gone. They're actually, well, they're not completely gone. I know they're actually in the hosta garden hiding right now from any sort of predators or threats. And their robin parents keep flying in there with food to feed them until they get strong enough to be on their own. They just kind of look after them in these early stages, making sure they're safe. And if you're a parent of adult children, I'm sure you know what I mean. That's kind of just part of the deal. But it is inspiration, and I'm finding a lot of inspiration in the spring garden. In some ways, parts of my garden have never looked better. I mean, I've got a rose blooming in the backyard that in the 3 years I've planted it has never produced a bloom. That's exciting. So, hey, I'll take it. And this rose is budded up and the clematis has climbed all the way to the top. That's also new. So things keep changing and evolving and adapting. And if Iowans are good at anything, it's adapting. I've learned that. That was a lesson I learned long ago. But anyway, I invite you to come along and hopefully find some inspiration as we walk through my garden. Maybe you'll find some inspiration for your own. At least you'll maybe find some plants that are colorful, wildlife friendly, pollinator friendly, and certainly resilient. All right, let's get started. My Iris Germanica has pretty much gone over. Still have a few buds left to unfurl. Now I divided this bunch 2 years ago. They're pretty prolific though, so they continue. And of course the ones that are in more sun are better at blooming. Different varieties of hostas that have really taken off here. I have some storm damage, but I don't see any slug damage yet. I'm keeping an eye on that one. So far, so good. Okay. Some hardy geranium. A weed. Midnight Ghost is this geranium I have added here, also known to be resilient, deer resistant. Well, yeah, maybe that too, but rabbit resistant. I have some dying foliage still of some tulips. I try to keep them going as long as possible, just water them and that's it. But I'm feeding the bulbs. I just got to think about next year. Hollyhock coming up, and check out the blooms that have started on my foxtail lilies. I did get those staked up early, so that helps, but aren't they gorgeous? I see a lot of bees on these when it's a little bit warmer. Today's kind of sprinkly and drizzly, so they're not out as much as usual, but these orange puffs are pollen, full of pollen. These have gone over. They bloom from the bottom up. So just gorgeous. Last year I had 2 spikes. Now I have 3. My hummingbird feeder, which I do keep full, I change it weekly. More hollyhock. My bluewood aster is putting on some growth, so that's good. My columbine or aqualegia, also still looking good. This one's starting to go over primarily. I let it stay up in place and let these seed pods mature because I do want it to reseed. I would like to see more of this in my garden. And this rose budded up, almost ready to open. And I've had some soft fly damage in my rose garden, but not so much here in the backyard where there are lots and lots of birds. Check out my wisteria, starting to open, starting to bloom. Now, if I'd done a better job of pruning this a little harder last year, I'm pretty sure I'd have more blooms than I currently have. And hiding behind the foliage. There could be some on my neighbor's side of the fence that inadvertently have tumbled over to that side. I kind of leave it because you know what? If it's motivation for him to not hack at the wisteria, that I'm all in favor of that. I want it to be a benefit for everybody. And this rose, it hasn't bloomed before. And check this out. Aren't these sweet? These are just, ouch, very thorny. But sweet little blooms. I see bees on this because it's, again, open stamens. Whenever possible, I try to go for roses like that because I know the bees like it. I have some more beneficial bugs. A little subscription packet I got at Heirloom Roses. So these are hopefully still hard at work. I don't know. But you know what? I don't notice any sawfly damage on these roses. So I'd like to give it credit for this, but I really don't know. But hey, I'll take it. So far, so good. Twist and Shout hydrangea, you know, that's something else coming up with it. I just think it's dead. I didn't pull it, but it just doesn't look like anything is going on here. I have a salvia, meanwhile, that is blooming, and the bees do like that. And my hardy geranium, which I will probably next week trim it down so it will reflush. Autumn Joy, sedum, looking good. No flower heads yet, but looking good. And the Annabelle hydrangeas I have transplanted back there. They look pretty healthy. They've budded up. They're strong. They love the shade. And of course, so does my Empress Wu. Hui, I think, or water slide is this hosta. Gorgeous with the curly leaves. That was just from last year. Looking good. Some more sedum in here. And I have some lipstick blonde, and I like the varieties with the red stems. And again, still, gosh, I feel like I should knock on wood when I say this, like I'm tempting fate, but still no slug damage. So I'm tickled pink about that. You can see the Jack Frost Brunnera back there. And here we go back here. Climbing hydrangea is putting on some growth. Nothing to write home about, I guess. Love the variegation of these leaves and the way they bring some color to an otherwise pretty dark corner. My oak leaf hydrangea has never been bigger. So again, they liked the mild winter. I fertilized extra, and we had last week or so, we had a 4-inch torrential downpour, 4 inches in a single day. I mean, we were dry, we needed the rain, but maybe not to get it all in one day. But still, that has helped a lot of these plants really put on some serious growth. And look at this, we have a flower spike coming up. And I do enjoy those, and I know my hummingbirds enjoy those. So there's some people who cut off the flower spikes because they think it kind of ruins the overall neatness of the structure. But I just let them be. Now what you're seeing here is where someone has stepped on my hosta as it was budding up and coming out of the ground, so I need to just cut these leaves. This isn't rabbit damage or anything else. But since I have a cable box that repairmen routinely help themselves to the backyard, and especially when these plants were young, I think they didn't realize how much was in here. They stepped on it, damaged it, different things. I think it's more obvious now and they're more cautious, but I've found big repair folks just kind of in my backyard. Actually, my Chihuahua notices it first, so yeah. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm thinking if I had a Doberman, they probably would be a little bit better about ringing the front doorbell rather than just appearing in the backyard, even though definitely a watchman, that one. Nothing gets by him. Okay. Some more Brennera back here, Jack Frost, which should be big and healthy, kind of almost struggling here, but you know what? There is a lot of, that's a 30-year-old crab apple, so things do struggle in here. My Virginia, looking good. I've got some buds appearing here, along with, what is that little bug? Probably can't get it in focus, can I? Oops, hello. Anyway, there's all kinds of flora and fauna in here. For the most part, it balances itself out, but yeah. Now, I don't want to go too deep in the hostas in case, as I suspect, the baby robins, the newly fledged robins are hiding in here. I see the adults go ducking in here to feed them, so I don't want them to come out and put them in danger before they're ready, so that's how that goes. My containerized lilac has gone over, smelled great, but doing well. More autumn joy sedum. And I've got Sea of Love, Germanica, Angel's Rest, Mother Earth, Bearded Iris, which, you know, I really don't expect any blooms. This will just be their second year. But they are to be, as I believe, reblooming iris. This one has gone over, so just snip this so I'm not taxing the rhizomes any more than I need to. And again, it is a reblooming iris. All right, Sweet Autumn Clematis is going for it still. Wow, a lot of growth. And I do have some buds here for New Dawn Rose. I had to trim this back so severely because of some sawfly slug damage. And they were old canes too, but the ones that remain are healthy and they are budding up, as you can see. So that's good. Oh, and I didn't get a chance to show you here, but Generous Gardener is living up to its name. Hasn't bloomed yet, but look at these buds. Very cool. And I do have some sawfly damage here. I think I didn't get the little satchel on in time. Or, you know, they were just working their way up there. So can't depend on, I don't think you can depend on beneficial bugs to do all the work. It just doesn't always work that way. I can't see one on there. Let me take this off and see. You will find rose sawfly slugs on the bottoms of leaves that have little holes in them like this. So they might have moved on or fallen off. That's possible. Do I see anything on this one? I don't have the best of eyesight, but my camera is a little more precise. But I don't see anything here. So a strong hose of water can help. There's something, that might be one of my beneficials at work. But like I said, I don't like to use insecticides because I've got dogs and You know, a lot of birds that hunt here, so I don't want to cause a cascade that I don't want to ring a bell I can't unring. You know what I mean? Speaking of on the hunt, Chihuahua's looking for rabbits. All right, you stay close there, bud. Now, Teresa Benet has mostly gone over, but you'll notice, I think you can see in there, I've got a bee hard at work. I don't know if you can see him. More buds yet to come, and the clematis has woven itself on top and through the flowers. Oh, and this one I have to keep an eye on. He's not as well behaved. Why don't I scoop you up here, bud? Come here. Up, up. Good boy. Okay. Check out John Warren Clematis. Isn't he handsome? So handsome. And the contrast with the blooming salvia. And again, very soon, when this is all done, I will chop it down close and help it rebloom. This is some milkweed budded up. And routinely, this is a trap plant for some aphids. But since I have beneficial bugs, I'm not as worried about it because I think it just ends up being a draw for ladybugs and things that feed on aphids. So I don't spray that. And not to mention, it's meant to be a pollinator plant. Russian sage, catmints, sage, and nepeta. Tiger lily taken off. Love the recent rain that we just got. There's supposed to be a delphinium back in there, but you know, I don't think so. I don't think she made it through. They're not a long-lived perennial usually, but gosh. My roses are looking awesome. Love that red color. And some chive on the move here. I did cut it once already. I still haven't figured out what this plant is back in here. Who knows? It'll come to me. I'll figure it out. I'll have to check my records. But check this out. Isn't it beautiful? Just the open stamens when it's in full bloom. And no soft light on this one, but this might actually be signs of rust. Now, there is a sprinkler head down in here, an irrigation head that sprays these plants quite a bit, and I think this is a fungus, not sawfly. So I will remove and bag up and toss those leaves. But it doesn't affect the bloom, but foliage looks pretty ratty. So I have my roses with a healthy distance between each other, so that does help. All right. And again, we've got the flop situation, so this is ready for a prune. My rock and round sedum, leafing up, looking cute though still. Love it. Angelica. Why do I not see my Angelica? In there somewhere. I also have planted what you see coming up is a dahlia. Love the purple. Baptisia has cream, decadent cream has gone over. So is this primarily my tall bearded iris. Nepeta in here. Oh, check out English Miss. Healthy, growing, looking good. This is a tall bearded iris that I am going to have to chop in half and move because it's right in the way of a sprinkler head, which isn't going to help the rhizomes or the health of the plant. It did bloom, but, you know, still not good. This is some sawfly damage you're seeing here. If I had used a insecticide, this wouldn't be seen right now. That would probably solve it. I don't know. I got to think about that. My clematis, in the meantime, looking good, is budding up. This bearded iris is healthy bloom. Have some damage here for Louise Clematis, or Louise Clements, sorry. The buds will open, but I just don't know. She's had some cane damage. Quicksilver had some sawfly initially, but these appear fairly healthy at the top, so we'll see. needs to be up. Do you see that? Is that an aphid? What is that? Again, I don't get too freaked out about aphids because that seems like the garden just takes care of itself when it comes to that. Ooh, pardon the finger. Chives are in bloom. Lady in red in bloom. Gorgeous. Stand by me clematis, which is a sprawling clematis, not a trailing one. I have a type of allium starting to bud up here. That's what those tiny little tall grass-like structures are. And no buds, no blooms. Again, from Al's Choice. Nothing. Love in the Mist, that's the ferny foliage you see down there. Those will be pretty when those bloom. That'll be a little bit later. This is where I'm going to plant my carrots and radishes. Haven't done it yet. Gabe, no, come. No, come. Let's go home. Come on. No, let's go home. I'd always stay on this boy. This is hot cocoa rose, which I'm going to keep in a pot for a couple years. I think it has some coppery, warm foliage, which will look good in this red pot that I just roll in and out of the garage every year to have my blooms. I've kind of done a coppery, pink and yellow combination here for the roses. So that's what I've got going on here. So far, so good. All right. Okay, and let's show the front. Come here, Gaby. All right, I have my Millennium. Check out my now leafed out Japanese maple. Love the bright red foliage here of the new growth. And I'll just let her grow over the top there a little bit. I have a budded up peony. And that's just a rogue milkweed, but I know how much we need them for the monarch, so I just left it. A new sunny coleus, which looks interesting in that pot, I thought, and it brings out the pinks that we're going to have here. I did the same with this front container, along with some jasmine. That's supposed to be for the feral cats, Gabe. Come on. Come on, let's go home. Roald Dahl rose, which I think rabbits have gone after, so I might have to cage that up. This is my rogue tree, which I keep pruned up, but I think it looks good. Well, my little garden helpers decided to come along and help me say goodbye. So they're also enjoying this weather and looking forward to next week when it's certainly going to be warmer. At least Chihuahua will, won't you? Yes, Gabe. Gabe loves to bask in the sun. This one, well, we just keep an eye on, don't we? Yes, we do. Anyway, I hope you found some interesting things, and I do hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you like the video. If you have questions, let me know. And yeah, let me know how things are growing in your yard. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye. You say bye? No? How about you? Yes. Oh, thank you.